The Sofia Gray Show.
Hello, listeners and kinky friends. Welcome to the Sofia Gray Show, where we discuss all things sex, kinks, and fetishes. From the sex stories to the latest trends in the erotic world, we talk taboo transparently. This podcast is brought to you by Sofia Gray, the largest used underwear marketplace. I'm Lacey Bloom.
And I'm Tracy Buss.
And I've got a little repeat after me game to kick us off today. So I'm going to take you back to your summer camp days, Tracy, and say, please repeat after me.
Okay.
There is no shame.
There is no shame.
In a man.
Enjoying
anal play. Period.
So true. Period. So true.
It's so true. Like I know that anal play for men, specifically pegging, which is what we're going to talk about today, one of my favorite things that's at the top of my Christmas list, is a practice that's still considered taboo, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, like, as people, as progressive and open people say they are, there's still, like, internalized homophobia that exists on, like, a subconscious level.
Right, both for, not only for men either. I mean, honestly, across the board. And it just makes me so angry because G-spot orgasms are like what women or people with vaginas are always striving for with sex. And they're deep, they're internal, they're incredible. And here's the thing. Men have a G-spot too, and it is called the prostate.
I know. Yeah, and it's like, guys, you have this great spot. Use it.
Exactly. It's so tragic when people don't take advantage of, everything they got going on. So we are going to be talking about pegging today because, like I said, there are not a lot of things that I have on my bucket list in general, but let me tell you, pegging someone is very, very high on that list. Of course.
I think it is for a lot of women. For sure.
I'd like to hope so. And you know what? If it's not, hopefully it will be by the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so just some basics first. Pegging is when one partner, typically a female, wears a strap-on dildo and penetrates the other partner, typically a man, anally. And most of the time, it's, simply a way for men to enjoy anal sex. That's it. There doesn't have to be this story about it. I mean, it's something for people to enjoy, to try something new. And today we're going to talk about, a few tips for just sort of getting started with pegging. But before we get into that, there are definitely some myths that I just like to put to bed.
Right.
So that everybody can bring their pegging fantasies to life during our blessed holiday season.
Yeah.
So let's start with the most obvious, which is pegging is in some way related to your sexual orientation.
No.
Yeah, I can't. It's very, very false. I mean, the idea that enjoying anal play somehow correlates to being a homosexual is something that needs to be discussed and, more importantly, abolished ASAP.
I know. It's so crazy how prevalent it is in our culture still, in pop culture we see on, in so many different things. And it blows my mind how deeply penetrated it is in our world. And it's just like something that feels so easy to let go.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting is I think there is still some thought about if women are the ones who are into pegging that they might be a lesbian. I think there's some people who think that, but I don't think there's as much emphasis placed on that as there is on a man enjoying anal sex.
Yeah.
And anal play no way determines your sexual orientation. And you know what? Even if it did, it doesn't. But even if it did, who the fuck cares?
Right. Totally. Yeah. Because even again, closeted homophobia, internalized homophobia is homophobia, and it is hurtful.
Yeah. And there is nothing wrong with being gay, bisexual, straight, any combination, whatever you identify with along the spectrum. Again, your sexual identity is not determined by whether or not you enjoy having things shoved up your ass, because if that were the case, then I think all of us would be gay if we were going by
like whatever that means. Yeah.
That standard. So, whether it's a finger or a strap-on dildo, whatever it is, do not by any means think that determines what your sexual orientation is. So, second myth for you, pegging is anti-feminist.
What does that even mean? What does that mean?
I don't even know.
Oh, I guess like about penis envy or something.
Yeah, here's the thing. Too often, whether it's in the bedroom or outside of the bedroom, I think we make a lot of things about men versus women.
Yes. Yeah.
And first of all, let's rid ourselves of the binary right there.
Yes, of course.
But also, not everything is about sex or gender. Some things.
Yeah.
Some
just
things
not fun.
just feel good,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yep.
So, I don't think this is as much out there as we hear the myth about sexual orientation, but there are some feminists who seem a bit concerned over pegging. And I don't get it, but it could be about the penis envy or the power element. I don't think that's true. I mean, honestly, it just feels like complete nonsense. Just because you strap on a dildo to pleasure your partner who has a penis doesn't mean that you necessarily want to have a penis.
Yeah.
It means that you want to, have your partner experience some pleasure. And you know what? You will too. So...
Yeah. Because there are strap-ons that have these like little compartments you can put like a bullet vibrator in, and that feels really good.
Well, and even if it doesn't, even if it's a one-sided strap-on, just the pleasure of giving your partner pleasure,
absolutely, yeah.
Which actually is one of my other myths, is that pegging isn't pleasurable for the one wearing the strap-on. Absolutely false. That's like saying giving your partner oral sex isn't pleasurable for you. And you know what? If it isn't pleasurable for you, whether we're talking about oral sex or strap-ons or what have you, you shouldn't be doing it. You should be having a conversation with your partner about why something isn't working for you. But, not only do you experience pleasure from pleasuring your partner, but role-playing and switching up the dynamic, I don't know about you, but I find that really hot, and it turns me on.
Yeah.
But like Tracy mentioned, there are also wearable vibrators that the pegger can wear along with their strap on. So many options.
I know. There's so many fun things out there.
Exactly. So, okay, here's a big old myth for you. Pegging hurts.
No.
I mean, here's the thing. It doesn't have to unless you want it to. And however you're thinking it's going to feel, and this is specifically for people who haven't tried it yet, is likely not how it will feel. Because I know when, most of my friends and I were first starting to have sex, when you thought about anal sex and you weren't familiar with it or hadn't experienced it, the first thing that you would probably think was, ow. Like, that's going to hurt. And I think it's more of your mind that tricks you into thinking that it's going to be a lot more difficult and a lot more painful than it is, because that's what we do when we think of anything unknown. Yeah. We always think of like the worst about it. So, if you remember a conversation we had on this podcast about yoga and discomfort versus pain.
Yes.
That might be a great thing to reference, that, a little discomfort during anal sex is very typical, but pain is not. So as long as you warm up and you do Tracy and my favorite thing and use a lot of lube.
Lube.
It shouldn't hurt nearly as much as you're thinking it's going to, if it hurts at all. So keep that in mind. Okay, a couple more myths for you. One, all strap-ons are the same.
No.
I mean, all penises aren't the same.
Exactly.
So penises, vaginas, boobs, bodies. I mean, they're all different. And, so are dildos. Some are small. Some are a little bit bigger.
It's
some
easy,
are
just go to a store and you'll see.
right. And hello, the internet.
Yeah.
I mean,
the internet. I forgot.
I don't know. I was an internet shopper before COVID hit too.
Fair point. Yeah.
But yeah, there are plenty of sites, especially if you are quarantining at home. There are plenty of websites for you to, peruse what is out there. We do have several that we link back to in our article about pegging. And I don't know, my go-to is usually Love Honey. I think they have a lot of great things. But yeah, whatever your sex shop of choice is, check them out. See what they got. Because there's going to be a variety. And it's important to find the one that suits both you and your partner. And you know what? You might not get it right the first time.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Don't expect a one size fits all kind of thing. And you know what? I wouldn't want a one size fits all because it wouldn't fit most.
Right. Yeah.
And then my last myth for everybody is pegging is a niche desire. And that's because there are a lot of people interested in pegging. This is a fairly common fantasy. I think the issue is that we don't talk about it publicly enough for people to realize that there are so many people interested in it. We actually ran a poll on Twitter, and of the people polled, the majority of them were interested in pegging even though they had never tried it.
Cool. Yeah.
And slightly less majority said that they weren't interested at all. And they're about in the middle, around 22% of people said that they tried it and loved it.
Great.
And only 5% of people said that they had tried it and it wasn't for them. So, I mean, that is a very, very small minority who at least gave it a shot. And
yeah. Because, you don't like everything.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'll ask you, Tracy, I know that we're both interested in pegging, but what do you think the appeal of pegging is for you?
For me, it's mixing things up, trying new things that, you don't normally do. Well, for me at least. I like femdom. Yeah, I feel powerful doing it. And not necessarily, it's a power. It's a power position, and it kind of like being on top, and I like that. I like it.
I agree. I totally agree. I think these are all really relevant, examples of what might be the appeal of pegging for various people. I mean, there's definitely the idea of mind-blowing orgasms.
Sure.
For your male partner. Like, I love pleasuring my partner. That gives me so much pleasure. So to think of a way to do that would give them like the ultimate pleasure, and it's also something different, that I wouldn't necessarily try with somebody that I first started dating. But if this is somebody, that you're comfortable with and you both like the idea of trying something new and exciting, and obviously everyone's on board. I find that really sexy. Like, keeping it fresh. And Tracy also mentioned femdom, which is an extremely common fantasy that can be explored through pegging. Yes. So there you go. I also think that much like anything, pleasure is addictive, So finding ways to pleasure yourself or your partner, it can be very addictive, and finding new ways to do that, to feel those same great sensations, it's a lot of fun. And I mean, hell, we've all been locked up at home a lot this year. Like, this is your time.
Sure.
This is the time to explore these things if you have a partner with you.
Yeah.
Now, like I mentioned, we definitely have a lot of toys, especially toys geared towards beginners that we've linked back to on our website. So I hope You check those out. I was happy to see a lot of Love Honey items on the list because, like I said, they're my go-to.
Fabulous. Yeah, I got to check that out. It's funny because, like, you mentioned online. I was like, there's a sex shop right near me that I, like, never go online. But now I'm like, oh, maybe I should.
Yeah. Or if they're open, hell, throw on a mask and jot on down
I'm sure
the street.
they're open. Yeah.
Yeah, because sex doesn't stop. You know, masturbation doesn't stop. This virus, not stopping for virus. Yeah. So a few tips to get you started. Once you have had the conversation with your partner, you have maybe picked out the toys that you're both excited to try. Here are a few tips for the pegger. So the person wearing the strap-on. So soon to be Tracy and I, when we find those men willing to let us peg them. Here's what we are going to do. We are going to, one, discuss our safe words and communicate with our partner about how the session will play out, because this should be a given, honestly, as far as sex goes, because communication, as we know, and safe words are not just for BDSM scenes.
Of course.
Communication is key in a romantic relationship, in a sexual relationship. There has to be a conversation. And especially when this is something new. I mean, this is assuming this is the first time that you and this specific partner are going to try pegging. Any type of new sexual experience deserves its own conversation.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. So have a conversation. You might both be nervous or a little overwhelmed. That's okay. Just talk about it. Yeah. Then, number 2, become familiar with the strap-on before using it on your partner.
Very good. Yeah.
So important, because this is, Tracy and I say all the time that we love to try things out on our own before we, do that with our partners. And I think strap-ons are, kind of fall into that category.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the first time you use it shouldn't be right before you peg your partner. Like, you're going to want to put on the harness and the dildo, get used to how it feels, because this is going to be an added weight that you're not used to, and something that
you want to feel confident. And,
yeah, exactly. So you can get used to how it feels, how, to move with it. It might change how you'll need to adjust your movements to account for the extra length. So yeah, it's just, one other thing to do before you guys are actually getting together. Take the time to get to know your strap-on.
Yes.
Number 3, oh God, I can't say it enough. Please, please, please. 1, use lube, but also use the right kind of lube. Of
course. Yes.
Yeah. So this is the time where I want to remind everybody that spit is not the same as lube.
No, I hate spit. No.
Yeah, it's not for me either. And I know some people get really turned on with.
Oh yeah, good point. I'm being judgy. Yeah.
Well, and I think it has a time and its place. Like, I'm not opposed to spit or like extra saliva like during oral sex. Like, I think that's great. But when it comes to anal play and, specifically with using a toy, here are a few things to think about with lube and pegging. So, while silicone-based lube lasts longer, we do know that it also wears down silicone toys, which is what most strap-on dildos are made of. So in that case, if you're using a silicone toy, silicone dildo, you should stick with water-based lube. So you may need quite a bit more of the water-based lube than you would silicone-based lube, but it's not going to wreck your toys. So as opposed to being able to use this toy and peg your partner once because you messed it up with some lube, just get the right lube and you've got many pegging adventures planned.
Yes.
Thinking ahead. I love this. It's okay. This is going to sound really nerdy, but this is somebody I love to watch my Project Runway. And something that they always bring up is a quote that I'm going to butcher from Coco Chanel. That's, every time you get ready and you're about to leave the house, take off one accessory.
Okay.
Something like that. Now, I want you to put cocoa in reverse because when you
Add.
apply a generous amount of lube, I want you to double it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's okay to reapply. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So,
I
I mean,
always reapply. Yeah.
yeah, and if you put on a good amount of lube and you're thinking, "Oh, that's plenty." Nope, put more.
No.
Double
Put more.
double up.
Yeah. Especially water-based. If you think it's messy, it'll clean up easily. Don't worry.
Yeah, and like Tracy said, my third tip as far as lube goes is you might have to re-lube during pegging. Things can get a bit dry. It's perfectly
course.
normal.
Mhm.
All you have to do is, maybe pull out for a minute, and when you go to push back in, you feel it's not as lubricated as it was, re-lube.
Yeah, check in and re-lube and
Yeah.
resume.
Re-lube, resume. I want that t-shirt.
I know, re-lube.
That'll be my 2021 motto. Re-lube and resume.
Love it. Love it.
A couple other tips for our pegger. Warm up and foreplay are pretty important.
Yes. Stick a finger in. Seriously.
Yeah. Start with one, move on to two.
And then do a butt plug and then a
Yeah.
small dildo and then get to the strap on.
Yeah, this is here's my thing is as much as we see sex represented in movies and TV shows, hardly ever do we get to see an accurate representation of anal sex in general.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Let alone pegging.
Even in porn.
I mean, I love to watch pegging porn. I love it. But most of the time when you watch it, you have to watch amateur. You have to watch amateur pegging because there's not a lot compared to the rest of, what is out there in porn.
Right.
So, yeah, it's important to take your time. My last tip is to start really slow and there's no rush. It's really exciting and intoxicating to be in this power position. Especially if you're someone without a penis who doesn't typically get to do the penetrating. But going slow at a pace that suits your partner and you is so essential here. And really, this is the time where it's really important to pay attention to your partner because they're the ones who, if you aren't going slow and you're not taking the necessary precautions with lube and foreplay, they're the ones who won't be, they're gonna hurt and they're going to not enjoy themselves, and then by proxy you're not gonna enjoy yourself. So take your time, focus on the pleasure and go from there. So now a few tips for the pegged.
Okay.
The partner experiencing the pegging.
Peggy. Yeah.
The peggy. I like that. The peggy. Not to be confused with Peggy.
No.
The peggy.
The peg-y. Yes.
So, this works well with the tips that we already provided for the pegger because this is a partnership. This is you guys working together.
Yes.
But first and foremost, please do whatever it is that you do to get comfortable and relaxed.
Yeah.
Because this is different for everybody. It might be that you want to have a couple drinks. It could be that maybe you like to smoke the marijuana, whatever
it is, or if it's like foreplay, massage, whatever you do to get relaxed.
Yeah, maybe it's settling in to watch a movie on the couch with your partner. I mean, whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable, start there.
Yes,
we don't have to jump right into things. Secondly, foreplay. Yeah, can't say it enough. This works for both of you. I mean, this logic is pretty flawless. You have to be relaxed for this to work and for you to enjoy it.
Yes.
So a little light anal play, fingering, butt plug, etc. Like we don't have to jump from 1 to 60. I think this is something that this next one is really important, and that's the position you're in matters.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of possibilities here. I mean, I think most people assume that doggy style is going to be like the go-to for anal play, and maybe even the easiest. But I think there's other options. So the person wearing the dildo could lie on their back and the peggy could slide onto the dildo and ride it from the top. And the great thing about that specific position is that then the person who is being pegged is the one who can control the pace and how deep the penetration is. So, I mean, that's a reason that women generally love to be on top, you know, when having sex. So that might be a great place to start, especially as you're just kind of sliding in. And then if you want to switch to another position like doggy style, that's totally fine. But that would just be an alternative to going straight for doggy style.
Yes.
So another tip is stop if you need to.
Of course. Of course.
This should be a no-brainer, and this should apply to any sexual act whatsoever. But if at any point, you know, you want to stop to just take a breath, to change positions,
of course,
to get some more lube, and it doesn't even have to be that you don't expect that you have to be feeling pain or pressure to stop. Like, you can stop whenever you want. So whether it's to fix something or just to take a break for a glass of water or to make something better, like, hey, I like this position, but I kind of want to try something else because I think I'll be able to reach your clit if I, you know, do it this way.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever it is, but, you know, feel free to stop if you need to or want to. And then finally, don't push past the pain. If it hurts, stop and reevaluate.
Of course. Yes.
So again, this kind of ties back into our discussion about discomfort versus pain. So a little bit of discomfort is typical. It's very normal when experiencing anal play. However, if it is outright painful, stop and reevaluate what you can do to eliminate any pain you might be feeling. It could be more lube. It could be that you need some more warming up. It could be that maybe the dildo you're using is too big and there's nothing wrong with that. So whatever it is, don't feel like you have to keep going if it hurts.
Yes.
So that's just about it, though. I mean, we've given you a few tips for whether you're the pegger or the peggy, as Tracy says. As I mentioned, we've got plenty of links back on our site as to where to start with your toys. But I think the biggest takeaway from this is, look, if you are here for the pleasure and you want to try something new, do it. Whether it's pegging or foot worship or, you know, splashing, like this is...
Do it all.
Yes, there is no reason that you should not be enjoying whatever brings you pleasure, you know, so long as we're doing it in a safe and consensual manner.
Absolutely.
So what do you think, Tracy? Is 2021 going to be the year of the pegging?
Oh, yeah. 2021, year of the fun of pegging.
Goals.
Whether you're looking to buy or sell used panties, Sofia Gray has got you covered. If you want to earn some extra cash, you can set up your own shop in minutes and start selling your own used underwear. And they take no commission. You'll keep 100% of every single sale that you make.
If you got a kink for used panties and you're looking to buy your next pair, look no further. Oh, and the whole process is completely anonymous. Sofia Gray will never share, store, or archive your personal information. The name Sofia Gray won't even appear on your bank receipt. So head on over to sofiagray.com to start selling or buying used panties now.
If you're a fan of the podcast, we hope you'll subscribe on your favorite podcast streaming platform. You can also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts to let us know what you think. And while you're at it, feel free to share your feedback or questions by sending us an email to podcast@sofiagray.com. Until next time, I'm Lacey Bloom.
And I'm Tracy Bust.
And we're here to say, let them be kinky. There's no kink shaming here.